Hey guys, I discovered something pretty cool and I'm going to share it with you. It's called Gamebox Monthly. It's really cool, and let me tell you why. You get indie tabletop games sent to your door every single month. Games that you can play with other humans that are sitting next to you. You know what I mean? Like your original social network. It gets us out of our phones and out of our computers and out of everything else that takes us away from connecting with other human beings. What I love about Gamebox Monthly is you get these games, you get to open up and find new ways to connect. Isn't that what we're all looking for? Aren't you so sick of not being present? So you can get a present from Gamebox Monthly, and that can be your present. That's not even making sense, but I like it, and I'm going to go with it. So go to GameboxMonthly.com and rediscover social.
Krista! Hey, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Really? Because you seem a little...
I said I'm fine.
Okay, well, we all love you, so if you need to talk, we're...
She's fine. She's fine.
And here we are. You are listening to I'm Fine with Krista Allen. That's me. Guys, I'm so excited about today. I don't know about you guys, but I have always, when it comes to just being happy, when it comes to maintaining happiness, it is a huge struggle for me. And pretty much everybody I know too. Like you go in ebbs and flows and whatever. But I came across this book a friend of mine told me about, who I'm about to introduce. It's called The Happiness Project, and it is really fantastic. The lady who wrote it is Gretchen Rubin. And basically what it is the book kind of shows you how to change your life without actually changing your life. It's a mix of modern science and ancient history and pop culture, all revolving around happiness. And Gretchen, the author, tested this for a year, and then she shares it in this book. I was turned on to this book by my friend Asha Leo, who is a model, a TV host, and also she is most recently on a new show called Beyond the Record. It is a new show for Guinness World Records. It's on Facebook, which is pretty cool. And it just started. So you guys need to tune into that. But hello. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to get into this book.
You should tell everyone I'm English, which is why I sound slightly different to you as well.
I think they probably got that.
Well, sometimes I get confused with
Really?
Australian as well.
Oh,
so just
okay.
to clear it up,
She's
English.
She's an English. She's an
I'm
English.
English.
She's an.
Go on.
is
Give
it-
me your best English impression.
Okay, I probably sound like Mary Poppins. That's terrible.
That was pretty bad.
It was awful. Do American.
Oh no, I sound like someone from Sweet Valley High
Try.
or something. I'm like, oh my God. And I sound
That's
like a
perfect.
Kardashian when I do that.
No,
I'm like,
that was-
oh my God.
You do. Oh my God. It sounds like somebody making fun of something.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I sound like Mary Poppins.
Yeah.
Hello. How are you today? Would you
Governor?
like a spot of tea? Okay.
Oh, I feel like I'm home.
Oh yeah. All right. That was awful. I just embarrassed myself so bad. We're gonna dive into this book. What I love about this is she breaks it into all of these different chapters. What for you? Like, what was this? This is a book that you've read a few times or you've gone through. What's your favorite part about this?
I wouldn't say there's specifically a favorite part. I think in essence what it's about. So like you said, when you introduced it, that she wanted to find ways to be happier in a life, but within the confinement of what she can do every single
her
day.
life,
Because it's all
yeah.
very well you sitting there going, oh, I'm sick of my desk job and I'm just going to quit it all and travel around the world. Yeah, you're going to be happier. But this is things that you can implement in your everyday life without using too much time or energy or effort. And you can be happier in that process every day. And that's my favorite
Yes.
part of it.
I love that. I love that clarification because it's true. What I love about this book is you don't have to change. You don't have to live a different life. You can still be in your life. Just make some changes to make it better.
Yeah.
One of my things. What you have a couple of little notes here. What is the first thing that you want to talk about? Because here's the thing. My favorite part about this, which is one of the hardest things that I do,
Go on then.
is about cleaning.
Oh, I've got that one.
You see, everything is one big ball of clutter. And if you opened any of these closets right here,
There'd be an avalanche of
come
stuff.
falling down. And I live like that, but it's organized chaos.
Yeah,
but it's
just
still,
keep telling yourself
it
that.
makes my brain crazy. As long as it's out of sight,
Yeah.
for the moment, I feel better. But then when I'm in the company of myself and my alone moments, I realize I'm so unorganized. And when things are clean, I am on fire. When
Yeah.
things are organized, are you the same way?
Well, this is Gretchen's point of that, is that she says if it takes a minute, do it. So it's all the small things in life that when they add up, you feel weighed down by the burden of them. But so if you can just take one thing at a time as you go, like washing that dish up after you've used it, or hanging your coat up when you come in the door, those things mount up, and that's when you feel bogged down. And if you take care of those small things in your life, it is going to make you feel like you can actually take care of the bigger things in your life. So for me, and look, I'm not a dirty person. Like, you won't find any like half-eaten bagels or anything around my house. I'm a clean person, but I might not be the tidiest.
Yeah.
And this year moved in with my boyfriend. First time I've ever lived with anybody.
Is he clean?
Well,
Oh.
I'd say it's not the fact that he's clean. How should we say it? He has compulsive OCD. Yeah, the
God.
other way. So when I'm talking OCD, I'm talking our bookshelf has now been color coordinated. The spines of the books range in a rainbow color. Like, everything in the cupboard is in height order and facing a certain way.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. But to Gretchen's point, as much as it irritates me, when I come home or when I wake up in the morning and the house is clean, there's a sense of calm about
There
it.
is
I can't
something
believe I'm
nice about
admitting
it.
this on air.
I
'cause-
know he's going to listen and he's going to go, you said you liked it. It makes you calm. But you have to maintain it too.
Yeah.
Obviously.
But like little things, like when I hang a towel up on the bathroom rack, if the corners don't meet, he will take it off and re-roll it and put it back on again.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I would go insane. I could never date somebody like that. Let me rephrase that. They could never
Well,
date me.
he's taken.
No, like that. Not him. Not him. I wouldn't even try. But no, like nobody like that would ever even look at me and be like, oh, you're the girl for me. I mean, I would drive him crazy. I don't even shut cabinets all the way.
But okay, but you
But
take
I
the
should.
lessons in this book, right?
That's what it is.
It's about these small tasks, about getting organized.
You're right.
That can create happiness in your life. And there's such small goals and actionable things that you can do on a day-to-day basis that's going to declutter your life.
Right, which is what she was doing, which is what we were talking about. So
Yeah.
she took each one of these things and spent a decent amount of time learning these things and studying it and going, oh my gosh, this has made my life better.
Well, the project of it is, so each month she took a different part of her life that could make her happier. So I believe in January, she took vitality, so how to boost your energy. February was remembering love, and so it was working on her marriage. March was aiming higher, and that was addressing her work. And the idea is that she didn't just look at one of them in January and forget about it. She continued each one and added another element in. So by December, she was shattered. I mean, she literally said she had no
mean-
time to do anything, but she was then doing 12 things to improve her life.
And then she wrote a book.
A New York Times bestseller book.
Yes, let's clarify that. Yes, I mean, I've seen her. I've watched these. I've watched her on YouTube. She
Yeah.
has a lot of seminars and things. Lots of really cool stuff.
Ultimately, doesn't everyone just want to be happier? Now, this is
Yes.
something she says, that it's not about finding happiness. It's not some utopia that we're going to finally reach. This is about being happier, about feeling like you're moving in the right direction.
Well, and in a sense, if I would pick one word to describe it besides happiness, it's ease.
yeah.
And that's what I got from going through the book. Is it helps you to live an easier life.
Mm-hmm.
There's just steps that you need to learn. You have to retrain your brain,
Yeah.
like me.
Close
when
those cupboard doors.
Close the cupboard doors. Put, like, my boyfriend always says, I don't put the cap back on the toothpaste tight enough.
Oh, we couldn't ever live together.
I know.
It's not about the cat for me. It even has to be squeezed all the way to the top.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
See, I don't know what it is. I'm like, okay, I'm
But
fine.
you have other strengths.
I do. I do have other strengths. Cleaning, organizing is not one of them. Like you can just see right here, that's my mail.
You know, you have to open that at some point.
I figure if I look at it long enough, it'll just go or I'll get an alert on my email. So
Because people who have your email choose to write to you as well.
that's what I'm
obviously.
thinking. No, but when I read this, the first thing, when I was going through it, the first thing I did was I gathered all my mail and I put it there as opposed to just piled up. So I'm going through it.
Sure.
So it's one
process.
little step at a time, but all of these things do make a difference, whether no matter what it is. And I'm looking around and I'm seeing that my biggest mountain is this organization. It's ridiculous. You're going to have to help me.
Well, for me, the biggest thing that I took out of this book was her chapter on energy. And she says that before you even think about being happier, you have to have the vitality to do it. So getting enough sleep, and she means 7 hours. And she doesn't believe those people who are like, I can function on 4. They actually have studies have shown that they aren't necessarily
functioning at the level that they should.
Of course. So it boosts your mood, your memory, and your immune system to have enough sleep. She looks at physical and mental energy. And one of the things she says is just like exercise can be a great physical and mental energy. One thing that I do is I love Zumba. And I know this sounds ridiculous, but there is something about just having no inhibitions, putting on some really loud music. I'm often singing along to it too. And just like connecting to that child in you where you just danced. And there wasn't like, I'm trying to look cool in a club or something, you know, like you just danced. And it just always makes me feel so much more invigorated and revitalized.
Do you go
at
to
the end of it.
class?
I go to class.
You do?
I have been known to do it in the confinements of my bedroom.
Right. See, I'm so uncoordinated that when I try to do these things and I do go to class, I am running into other people or doing something ridiculous and I'm so hard on myself that if I don't get the moves right. But what you're saying, it is about letting go and just having fun. My friend Jacqueline Marfuji has a really cool class. I'm going to have to hook you up with her.
Okay.
She teaches one and it's a total dance class and you would love it. Very Zumba-y, but cool, and she's awesome. So shout out to Jackie.
So for me, when it came to energy, and there's a little story about Asha. When I was younger, from the moment I entered the school system, my dad has kept my report cards.
Really?
So I have them from nursery right up to the end of school, basically. And just out of curiosity, I sat down and I read them. And the word enthusiasm is written by every teacher in every subject. So it's either that Asha is an enthusiastic child, or she does things enthusiastically, or has enthusiasm, however you want to say it. And I really think that the chapter on energy in this book, for me, is something that I've kind of built a career out of, because I think enthusiasm, at least for me, is, she says it, if you're in a bad mood, just sing. Because you have the ability to affect the way you feel by the actions that you do.
Lifting your vibration.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's called, and she puts as, act as if. If you want to be happy, act as if you are, and eventually you will be.
I agree with that 1,000%.
So my enthusiasm for life has led me into TV hosting. And I actually started a YouTube series called Challenge Asha, where I'm helping people, or encouraging people at least, to know their full potential. Because a lot of times people don't try things for fear of failure. And I think that enthusiasm and that willingness to try will help you. I use the acronym FAIL as in first attempt in learning, because it doesn't matter if you fail, you just have to keep trying.
That's awesome. That's a great way to, did you make that up?
I'd like to say that I did.
Because it's a good one.
Yes. So long as you don't Google it, then I can say
First
that I did.
attempt at learning. Yeah, right. No, that's really good.
Even when you go for a job interview, you can have the skill set that a candidate is, that an employer is looking for. But if you show enthusiasm, they rate that as 40% of your attitude. So if you show enthusiasm and a willingness to learn, you are more likely to get a job because of that positive mental attitude.
I do the same thing whenever, people that come in that are working for me or whatever it is, maybe they don't have the experience as much that I need. If it's like an assistant or somebody that whatever it is, maybe they don't have the experience, but they do have that enthusiasm or the passion. And that's going to go over so much more. How many jobs have you booked alone? Even at the beginning, like you said, starting out, there were probably tons of people with more experience than you, but it was that enthusiasm, the vitality.
Yeah.
And it makes people feel better because this is one thing that I've learned. The higher my vibration is, the more I can lift other people.
It's
and
infectious.
In a sense, it's like being of service in your own way. Yes, of course, we want to be of service and help out and do things. But the best way, like humanly possible, to be of service to anybody is to keep your vibration high so that people that you're surrounded by can feel that and you help to raise that vibration, whether, like you said, singing in the car, putting on music, laughing, telling jokes, whatever that is.
Yeah, she actually says in the book that one of the best ways to make yourself happy is to make other people happy. But one of the best ways to make other people happy is to be happy yourself. So it does start within you in that vibration.
All of it does.
Yeah.
All of it does. I know when I have to check myself sometimes with this because when I get into places, everybody gets down. Everybody gets into those places where there's overwhelmment and there's this or there's that. And it's in those moments that I go, if I've gotten to a place where I can check myself so quickly and go, oof, I'm not in alignment right now. I'm outside myself. I need to be more centered and more alignment. Sometimes it takes me a minute and I'm really not able to get out as quickly as I can. But the best thing that I've learned is either to sit and meditate or take a nap. Those two things will literally reboot me. And because it has nothing to do with what's going on the conditions. And that's where we end up. One of the things within this book I was kind of understanding is it's not about the conditions that we're up against. It's about how we feel about those conditions
100%.
that make us spiral out or whatever these things are. So that enthusiasm, just the enthusiasm to get back into alignment is so key. And the energy, how you're vibrating, what you're vibrating at.
I think also that the research has, or at least studies have proven that this notion of blowing off steam or just like the idea that anger can be something that tops out and then you have to let off, it actually doesn't give you any benefits. If anything, it puts you in a worse state of mind. And the best thing, as you're saying, is if you can quiet yourself, meditate, maybe nap, like you said.
Yeah, shut the brain off.
Yeah, in the long run, that will be much better for you. That is one of the parts of the book that really speaks to me is the self-knowledge and the relationships too. And that's a chapter that she focuses on. She says that friendship, having a confidant, having a support system which is giving and getting support, that is one way to have happiness. And so she's chosen to join groups. Because look, face-to-face contact's amazing, but not everybody has time in their day to go and meet up with somebody. So she joins groups of like-minded people. And for me, I joined a hiking group. I was training to climb Mount Kilimanjaro.
Oh so my God, of course you were.
Just on my Wednesday. And I joined a hiking group. And through that hiking group, I found like-minded people who we ended up volunteering with. One of those volunteering things being the wolf sanctuary where they helped rescue wolves, where you and I got to properly talk and deepen our friendship. And so the idea of just being around people, having that face-to-face time, making friends that you can talk to, you just have no idea whether there's no limitations to that.
Yeah.
And you never know how far and wide that will affect you.
No, but you're guided in some, that's another part is following that intuition. acting on those things. The day that you woke up and went, I want to join a hiking group. I love hiking. Like, you could have let it go, but somehow it's speaking to you and you went with it. And how many amazing friends did you make out of that group?
You know them all. They're incredible.
That's what I mean.
That's what I'm having my Friendsgiving this year with 20 amazing people that all met each other through that hiking group in a way.
Yeah, it's wonderful. And everybody's fantastic. And it's like all these women were all supporting each other and it's awesome. And then the guys are there too, and it's fun. But I love that whole group, and it's wonderful. How cool was that wolf thing, by the way?
Oh, I mean, that is something
cried.
that they're on, and no one knows about it, there's something called Airbnb experiences, and you can actually go and help walk with the wolves on the path that we cleared when we went there. And they can spend time with rescued wolves.
It's called the Wolf Connection for anybody out there that wants to know. And it's wonderful. It's so cool. They did this one thing. I think about it often when we were in front of the cages and all of a sudden the cage sounds terrible.
The barriers, basically.
Right, the barriers so they don't eat us. One of the wolves started to howl.
Yeah.
And then they all I just got
got
goosebumps again. And then they all started to howl. And all of the girls, we were all sitting there and we were all kind of talking, and every single person just faded out. And we were all just in awe. And I had tears running down my face. It was the most powerful.
Animalistic.
I had a smile and tears.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh my God, it was so beautiful. So it was so magical.
Yeah.
I encourage anybody that's around, like, go to the Wolf Connection. It's wonderful.
I mean, that itself wrapped up was girls empowering each other as part of a volunteer group who had met in, as a hiking group, giving back to a community that was rescuing animals. Like, in itself, it was just like, it was happiness back.
It is. And what a great thing. And with the happiness project in general, she guides you through it. So we can do this ourselves as well. She basically says, this is what you do. You don't have to do every single thing the way that she did it, but you pick and choose what feels good to you. And I would say pretty much everything spoke to me in some way. Some things I'm better at than others. I feel like I keep my vitality up, but I also am very aware when it's down. She talks about money being a lot like health, which I think is interesting because, you don't really realize it when you're not feeling well, you notice that you're not healthy. When you don't have money, you notice that you don't have money.
Yeah,
when
I think it doesn't guarantee you'll be happy, but not having to worry about it makes your life a lot easier.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
And it's so true. And I love that there is that connection between money and health, because it's two things that are absolutely important.
100%.
And I love both of them. I really do. I think they're both phenomenal. You can do so much with both. And I love that. I try to keep my brain free from any negative thoughts that are surrounding anything that have to do with financial stuff. Because are you a believer that you are in law of attraction and how you think is what your reality is?
So I don't know if you heard me give a very large sigh.
I did. I did. I saw your eyes. I'm like, ooh, this is going to get good.
I am a massive believer in the law of attraction. I really do. I think that, and do you know what? Even if it doesn't work, isn't it better to have spent a lifetime feeling positive than feeling negative?
1,000%, yeah.
But I'm going through something at the moment, which has led me to this book and others too, that it is hard. And I guess this is my question to you. I'd like to think that normally I vibrate at quite a high level. I am an enthusiastic, outlandish person. But when you're feeling low and when you're in a slump, I know my energy has gone down. And now that it's down, I'm attracting more of it. Shitty stuff, like more stuff. Bad stuff is coming to me. And it's really hard to break that now.
So here's what I've learned.
Okay, go on. Hit me with it.
Here's what I've learned. Just thinking a better thought. So vibration on the scale in the vibration, like say depression is pretty freaking low, right? But anger is higher than depression and revenge is higher than anger. And you keep going up the scale. So if you can't get to a place, and here's where with everything, even in this book that Gretchen wrote and how wonderful it is, there you can't just get from I'm feeling this way to I'm fine. Thus the name of my podcast. You can't, it's impossible because you're not going to believe it. Your brain goes, that's bullshit. I don't feel that. That's why sometimes things like, what do you call it? Affirmations, they don't work because you're like, I feel great. I'm surrounded by wonderful people. And then you look at your life and you go, that's just not working. But what you can do from that other place is go to the place of, I feel better than I did yesterday. I absolutely, like you go into different stages of lifting your vibration from a positive place and changing
like
that story.
Bite-size
Exactly.
improvements.
Little bite-sized pieces until your vibration is lifting higher. And vibration is such a like hoobie-jooby word. Like, I don't know, like people, whatever that is, but it's true. It's where you're operating from, that vitality. And I am sure that like they say, like you create your own reality, everything in your life. And when we're focusing on the conditions of what we've created, that's when we get messed up. When you're focused on this is the problem, as opposed to, oh, what am I believing? Because a belief is just a thought you keep thinking. So change the thought. And that's where that goes, but do it in bite-sized fun pieces as opposed to trying to get all the way to the other side. Does that make any sense or help at all? Like in terms of like where you are right now?
Yeah, definitely. I think one thing I always tell myself is, as frustrated or upset as I might be with my current condition or situation, there are people in this world who dream of having what I have. And that reminds me to always practice gratitude. And yes, things might not be going well, or I might not be where I want to be, but I am fortunate to be in this situation.
Right.
Like, for example, one of the things that is really affecting me right now is I know that you introduced me as a model and a TV host. I've been modeling for 23 years.
Wow.
And in any other industry, 23 years would have me be the CEO of the company. I would be a senior vice president position. But in modeling, 23 years just makes me more haggard and less relevant.
Right.
And so to be only 35 years old and facing imminent retirement because of society's obsession with youthful beauty, even though I have a wealth of experience and a skill set, and people might disagree, but skills to model is not just a noun, it's a verb too. It's a skill set being able to model. It means that I'm losing my relevance in that industry. And TV hosting has gone from somewhere where it was talent and that's all that mattered, to now your value being placed upon the social media following that you can bring. So your value is now attached to a number, and it's a commodity as to whether or not you can book a show. So you'll see across the industry, people, actors, models, TV hosts are missing out on jobs because people can bring 5 million, 10 million followers to something. And I'm not saying social media is bad. It is great at helping undiscovered talent reach out there and give them a platform. I'm just saying that for the first time in my life, I am questioning the limitations and longevity of my career choice. And that's made me question my identity and whether my passions can actually deliver me to where I want to be, and therefore what my purpose of life should be. And so I know it's getting a little deep now.
No, it's fine. I hear you.
But
I've bet so many people feel like this in even different areas, but keep talking. I agree with you.
Yeah, it's hard for me because, look, I am British, and we're notorious for being tight-lipped, and we don't talk about our feelings ever.
No, you're doing really good. And
but
you have nice teeth too, which is totally crazy.
Thanks for clarifying that. I feel like we should just add a picture of this at the end, just in case. To be vulnerable is taking a lesson out of Gretchen's book. sharing is caring, and confiding with you and all these listeners. It's hard. It's hard to be 35 years old, and I'm hopefully only a third of the way through my life. I hope to live a long, happy, and healthy life. Majority of it so far I spent as a child, so I've got so much more in front of me to come. And to know at this juncture in my life, I have to change my career. And look, like I said, I'm so fortunate. I have a show on Facebook right now. It's with Guinness World Records. I got to travel the world and meet extraordinary people. The world's shortest living woman who is only 24 inches tall.
I know. She showed me a picture, you guys. I'm going to post it.
And the world's oldest competitive dancer who is 99 years old and is more flexible than I am. Like, she's incredible. Like, I'm so grateful and honored that I have those abilities. But it's looking, like I said, at the longevity of my career and realizing maybe it's not a viable option anymore.
But I hear what you're saying. Of course it's going to go into different places. Modeling is all about the way you look. There are you're only 35 and you're the most stunningly beautiful woman I've ever seen in my life. But that aside, there is a whole other thing where we are constantly expanding just as humans. If you're not expanding, what's the purpose of life, right? But that also will open up. You may find as you go in, it's still within the modeling world and you're still doing these things that you love to do, but you're mentoring other people or you're doing other stuff, which is exactly probably what you do anyway. But I hear what you're saying. I think I don't know how to even, I hear what you're saying. Everything has changed since social media, where I used to get paid really great money for a movie that nobody was really going to see. Now, they give us basically nothing for the same job or whatever. And if I don't have the proper followers, sure, I can lose jobs to somebody else. But I look at it and I go, hey, okay, well, that's a challenge.
Yeah.
That's a challenge. And what can I do? So however I think about it, if I continue to think that is the way it is, and that is the way it is, and I have very specific people in my life, that one person specifically, every single thing that goes wrong, he's like, and that's my luck. That's just what happens in my life. See what happens. And he believes it so much, and he doesn't understand in any way. He's like, it's not just a coincidence. Like, this is how my life is. His belief is so strong that bad shit happens to him a lot, but it's not because the world is against him. It's because he's not open to thinking in a specific way. I have another friend that's the same way. And in terms of all of this, of just looking at going, okay, I'm 35, things are changing. There's all this stuff, and I'm feeling like I'm not as relevant to what I want to be. Is this the end of what I'm about to do? Yeah, but then but it's also the beginning of something else.
Yeah,
and that is the lifting vibration part, where you go from, you know what? Let me look at this at the beginning. I don't know what is coming in, but I know that everything is always working out for me, and that You know that everything always is working out for you. It's working out for everybody if you believe that. And you can't get it wrong. You're never going to get it right, and you can't get it wrong. Like, that's the kind of life, right?
Yeah.
But you can't get it wrong. You're never going to get it right. Like, it's like that. It's kind of funny when you think of it that way. And that is where we're just constantly growing and expanding. And it's funny that this book came along exactly at the time that I needed it to come along, because I'm also starting this podcast and doing stuff, and I'm starting stand up, and there's all of these new things that I'm doing now. And I could choose the fear, which definitely the insecurity and the fear does come in. But as long as I'm aware of it and I go, okay, let me think a better thought. Things keep rolling in. And then this book came in and it nailed it. And I was like, all of the concepts and all of the things of just taking everything. This is a bite-sized book.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Basically what she's saying is exactly what you said. Take it in bite-sized pieces. When I was like, just think a little bit of a better thought, It's the same thing with this book.
And you wouldn't have to do all 12 months. You wouldn't have to do every aspect of it, every topic. If you know that your weakness is the organization, then do you know what? For 1 month, just do the organization, or
Right.
even just do the organization for 12 months
Take it-
and see
right.
how you feel at the end of it.
But the thing is what she definitely stresses on this is don't take it all on at once.
Yeah.
Take little pieces.
Because they become habits then.
They become habits.
Yeah.
Just like it's become a habit on the opposite end.
Mm-hmm.
Just like anybody's emotion or thinking has become a habit. It's just what we're used to. So sometimes when things are going really well, when things are going really well, do you ever take a step back and get scared?
You're waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Right.
You're like, oh God.
Because it's what we've been conditioned to learn because
Yeah.
we've heard it from our parents. Somewhere we learned it.
Yeah.
Somewhere we learned there's a belief system that wasn't really ours to begin with, but we've developed it and we've lived it. But we also know that we're evolving as our own people and continuously doing that. But there's still these subconscious belief systems that lay dormant until something happens, like great successes. And then you're like, oh shit, now I'm scared. Or, you meet somebody that's wonderful and you fall in love and then it gets scary and you're like, okay, something's going to, those are all of those things.
It's
And it's-
preconditioned ideas that nothing can ever be too good.
Right.
That something has to go wrong eventually.
That something has to go wrong eventually and that it all has to be done now. I want to fall in love now. I want to get married now. I want everything to be good now. My house to be clean now. I want this I want it now. And it's like it's taking it piece by piece and just living in that moment as best you can. And doing the best you can with what you have from where you are.
Yeah.
And this is something that I'm teaching my son right now. My son is 20 and he's phenomenal and he is doing so well. And he's a PA right now. He's doing, he wants to produce. So he's acting, he's modeling, but he's also really very seriously about getting into the producing world. He's not making much money as a PA and he's also on his own right now. But he's doing so phenomenal that I have directors and people calling me saying, your son is wonderful. He's like, that his mother is like so much
How does that make
pride.
you feel? I'm gonna ask.
It's amazing because I'm watching my son. He's his own person, but I'm watching him take this and he's happier than he's been in all of his life because he is working harder, getting paid nothing, but he's doing the best he can with what he has from where he is. And more jobs are coming in because he's mastering that. And the energy is so high and his vibration is so high with all of it. He would kill me for talking like this about him. By the way, he'd just be like, stop talking about vibration. It's weird. You're a kook. But he's doing so good with all of it. But he's inspiring me. And I'm watching him do this and I go, oh yeah, I got to practice what I preach. It's so easy to tell other people how to live their lives. It's so easy to teach and as opposed to living our own truth and going, okay, do you ever do that? Because I've done it my whole life.
Well, one of the chapters in the book is about finding a spiritual master.
Yeah.
And for Gretchen, and I have no idea who this person is, but for Gretchen, it's Saint Therese of Lisieux, who was a nun, a super nun. In fact, she was a doctor of the church from 1873. And she's saying it can be a political figure, a religious figure, somebody that you know, and you could watch their documentaries, read their books, whoever it is. It's seeing the way that they went through life and then using that as a translation or translating it to apply to your life. So I don't know who yours is, but it sounds like your son is kind of your influence a little here.
Sure.
But for me, I have a very good friend. I've known her since I was 21 and she's called Devon Brooks. And I'm going to read off a list of her accolades here, okay? And you're going to want to hate her until you meet her, right? So she is the CEO of a business that she created called Sphere. She is also an entrepreneur that started an international blow dry bar called Blow. She is an activist and started an organization called Babe Rally because she has suffered trauma in her life. And this organization helps those who have been impacted by sexual trauma. She is a mother of 2 children who are kick-ass, cool children.
Oh my God, I love this
She is an
person.
amazing wife. She is an incredible friend. And she's 31 years old.
Oh my God.
She's
I
also
love
writing her
so
first book
much.
right now. And the thing what I love most about Devon is that
Do you see the goosebumps on my legs?
the thing I most love about her is when I introduce her to a room of people who don't know her. I call it the Devon effect, right? When you see people, because she is like your son, when they have this vibration, when they have this aura around them, because they're just happy, hardworking people. People go from zero to wanting her to be the godparent to their child in like 60 seconds, because she has that ability to just affect people. She's infectious with her happiness and her positivity. So I joke with her and I say, do you remember, I went to a convent school when I was younger. So we used to have these bracelets called, what would Jesus do? Right. And it was for you to question what
Wow.
what the
Yes.
saintly religious thing would be
Right.
in any situation. So I joke with her and say I would have WWDD.
What would Devon
do? So I'm so often put in situations where I'm like, okay, I'm in a room full of people and I don't feel like talking to anyone. And like, what would Devon do in this situation? And she's the person that inspires me to be the best version
Oh
of
my
myself.
God, that is so wonderful that you have a Devon in your life.
Yes.
I love that. And she sounds phenomenal.
She is an incredible human being.
Does she doesn't live here, does she?
She lives in Canada.
The one thing, Devon, if you're listening, come on. No. Oh, no, that's amazing. I love that you have that in your life, and it's something to look to.
But everybody, and this is Gretchen's point, everybody can find that spiritual master that they can look to think, well, how do their actions translate to the tough situation that I'm going through? And they can be your guide.
Like, what would they? Yeah, and it doesn't matter. You know that it's that age old question. Like, if you could have lunch with anybody, alive or dead, what would you do? And I always go, well, I'd pick the dead one because then more food for me. No, but I think.
Oh, hang on. Which movie was it? I feel like it was Casper, that the ghosts would eat and then it would just drop through them,
Yes,
and
that's-
Casper would have to clean it up afterwards.
Yeah.
So I feel like ghosts would still eat.
Maybe so. They just somehow
Yeah.
It's just a little messier.
Yeah, a little messier.
It's like having a room full of toddlers or something, just mess all over the floor.
Who's your dead person then?
I don't know. I don't even. Well, God, I have so many. I have a list. I have creative inspirations. I have spiritual inspirations. Wayne Dyer was a big one. Louise Hay is a big one. I think living would be Esther Hicks. I think she's amazing. She's Abraham Hicks. And then on the writing side, I have a list of funny, hilarious people that inspire me, from Lucille Ball to Gilda Radner to all these different people, to Nora Ephron, who is a phenomenal writer. On the other side, and I believe that there's I love these stories that everybody has too, because every single one of those people have overcome something, just like your friend Devon. And I do have those people in my life as well. I have a lot of what not to
Yeah,
do.
exactly.
So the
train wreck people.
right. And I think of my mom or something like that. My mom has always made really not the greatest decisions. You know what I mean? So when I have something going on in my life, or especially when I used to, if it had to do with anything important, especially parenting,
Oh, no.
I would do
opposite.
I would ask my mom her advice and then do the opposite. And it was always the right decision.
Oh, gosh.
And it's the truth. And my mom to this day has been like, she's so proud of me for she's like, how did you pull out of that? And I'm like,
She's patting herself on the back, being like, "That's all me."
yeah, look what I did. Tough love, baby. Tough love. If I gave you the love, you wouldn't be here. No, but it's funny when I look at it like that, and we all have those people, the train wrecks that you look at, but aren't you just rooting for them to get it? And at the same time, it's almost like you're rooting for yourself to get it too. Cause I can be a train wreck in so many parts of my life. In relationships, oh my God, seriously. I have so many things.
I have a laundry list of stuff.
Don't
worry.
Oh my gosh, ridiculous.
But failure is the first attempt in learning.
That's right.
I have definitely got better with each relationship
Me
that I've been
too.
in.
Because you get better with yourself and
Exactly.
you're a worker bee internally just like I am.
Yeah.
And I am always like, I think too much. Do you do that? I think,
I'm too over analytical,
Yeah.
and so that's normally my downfall.
yeah, I spend more time thinking than people actually spend time thinking probably as a whole about just in general. It's a lot. And that's where the self-critical stuff comes in. And back to the book, it's basically knocking that stuff off and just being in alignment. That's probably what you were talking about earlier when, just even like with the industry and what's happening, there may be a piece of that you're just over analyzing every single thing and it's becoming more of a belief, which turns into a fear. So maybe just like there's that awareness right there. It's just like sprinkling around because there's so much you can do. I think about that too. I talk to girls that come here and boys too that come here that want to be actors that have been on the streets. It's a little piece of my story from when I was younger. I give back in that way. I like to talk to them. I want them to know, to have faith in themselves as human beings and that these things, their life does not have to affect the rest of their life.
Well, I think that's testament to what we were just talking about. You have a spiritual master and you are now becoming the spiritual master for those people. So it is, you are always in the process of learning.
Yeah.
And you always have to share and give back because it's cyclical, right? Everything that you're going through, someone else has gone through and someone is yet to go through.
Yeah. Isn't it true though? It's so cool just to be able to be able to be that to somebody. And it's also so cool to be able to get it from someone else. So I guess, I mean, I'm really happy with this book. I'm scrolling down right now because there are a few things that I wanted to say, but I have so much written on this.
I mean, I don't know if you can hear my scrumpled
Yeah,
pages.
like
I have page upon page of things that we could have spoken about today because it is so varied. Like I said, it just even in the months that goes by, she looks at everything from vitality, marriage, work, parenthood, leisure, depending on who you are.
Leisure
friendship,
sounds much better.
Money, eternity, i.e. the contemplation of heaven, books, mindfulness, and attitude. So already there, like, I'm sure that you're discovering in these podcasts of all the different
so much,
the different subjects that you could go into.
Yeah.
They're all in this one book. Like
Yeah.
you could pull apart month by month and talk for hours on each subject.
Yeah, yeah, you can, and it's wonderful. And each one of these chapters gives you something to think about. And some of these, where was the thing? We were talking about the enthusiasm part, and that's what I was trying to remember. She says enthusiasm is a form of social courage, which I thought was really cool. What you were saying, what would Devin do?
Yeah.
When you walk in and it's like, what would Devin do? She has social courage, and that is what has been one of my things too. Is that social anxiety of just feeling really insecure because of my own whatever I'm thinking. Getting through this and going to that next level is so important. You and I wouldn't have become friends if we were both like socially awkward. We both push
that's something
ourselves.
about happiness that Gretchen believes that happier people are more have a tendency to be more altruistic, that they are outward thinking, they're more likely to volunteer and to support their family, whereas unhappy people are inward, they're isolated, they're depressed. So it's only by wanting to join a group, to give back, that we became friends.
And do you know that I joined that hiking group after a breakup?
Me too.
And
I wanted to climb Mount Kilimanjaro to get over an ex-boyfriend. I was like, I'm a strong, independent woman. I've read Wild. I can do this.
And then at the end of the day, no matter where you go, there you are. You take yourself with you. And that was another thing with I have a friend of mine, my friend Charisma, who
Great name.
I know, Charisma Carpenter. She did my podcast. She did my very first one back actually, but she traveled the world to go find herself. And I would always kind of go, but at the same time, no matter where you go, you're still taking yourself with you.
Yeah.
But sometimes people feel that they have to go and do all these things and sometimes it works.
Well, I think it's the life experiences. So yeah, climbing Kilimanjaro didn't help me get over my ex-boyfriend. But what it did give me was I likened the mountain to just the journey of life,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So if you focused on I just have to get to the top and it looks so far away and it seems impossible, then yeah, it's daunting and it's scary. But all we did, and there was an expression in Swahili, I believe, gosh, I hope that's the right language, Swahili. So in when we were climbing Mount Kilimanjaro, it's called poli poli, and it just means slowly, slowly. And they're like, all you have to do is just take one step in front of the other, continuously, keep going, poli poli, slowly, slowly. And when you look down the mountain, you'll realize very soon, oh wow, look how far I've come.
Yeah.
And it was only like bite size again by taking those small steps one at a time, and it's manageable. And slowly but surely you will make it to the top of the mountain. And I know this sounds so trite, but it was about the friendships I made, the what I learned about myself and my endurance and my ability that they then applied once I came home. Like, yeah, did it make me get over my ex? No, of course not. But I felt stronger and enriched for that experience.
And that's the takeaway from it all, because you absolutely have the right mindset in all of that. And then you went and you obviously got over him. I got over my guy. But it is that thing where you go outward as opposed to inward, because that's the hard place to go. But a lot of us kind of go there anyway.
With ice cream and pajamas,
oh, yes, and
friends on repeat.
Yes, and you're annoying your friends all the time. Yeah. You know that you're really annoying your friends when you start to get generic text messages back from them.
I just get emoticons. I just get emojis sent to me, like hearts.
Yeah, I like during a breakup, like I text my best friend or whoever, all of my girlfriends, and I get like these random messages back. So I text one of them, and immediately I got responded, "You deserve better." And I was like, I was just asking if you wanted to get sushi. I don't know what you're talking about. What's better than sushi? No, it was like, but you're tapping it out when it gets to that point. But it's funny. And then I don't know. I love it.
To your friend's example, yes, she may not have needed to travel around the world to get to find herself or whatever.
It helped her tremendously.
It's just about being open to these new experiences.
Right.
So you can do everything in this book. If you don't learn from what you're doing, if you aren't open to learning new things about yourself and being self-aware, none of this is going to make any difference to you.
You just nailed the entire everything. All of this. That's exactly it. Everybody has to be ready. And if you're not ready to be ready, then get ready to be ready to be ready. And if you can't get ready to be ready, then you better get ready to be ready. But there's always something you need that, and that's it. But if you don't have that in you, then none of this means anything. Mm-hmm. And that's the takeaway, is for sure, just with this book in general, is baby steps. Taking everything one piece at a time. This book is awesome because it does break everything down. It's not preachy in any way.
It's not preachy at all.
Which I love. Yeah. And I know a lot of other people like that too, because I tend to get a little heady and deep and stuff about my spirituality and stuff. But I liked it because it was very easy. It was very simple, very smart, and scientific. I felt like I was, I felt like a cool kid reading the book. You know what I mean? Yeah, it was really good. Oh, well, is there anything else you want to talk about? We're going to wrap up here pretty soon. Is there anything you want to talk about?
No, I do. I mean, I love all the places that we went to with this discussion. And I think you summed it up right. It's just my phone screen is you've got to make your actions back up your ambition. That's my screensaver on my phone, and it rings true with this book because it's the things that you do every day that make a difference, not the things that you do once in a while. So it's about,
that's a great way to,
it's your actions that you're doing. If you want something to change in your life, you have to make the actions, and it's not just like, oh well, I ate healthy today, so I'm sure I'm going to lose a couple of pounds. It's the things that you do every single day that will lead you to where you want to be.
Whether it's working out, it's starting small. It doesn't mean you have to go to the gym and go do a whole Zumba class.
Yeah. You don't have to
I'm
climb
talking
mountains.
about myself. Yeah, you don't have to go climb mountains, but you can go take the dog for a little bit longer of a walk, or just take him for a walk in general. Trust me, the dog will thank you. Like whatever it is, like all of those things, it's taking it step by step until you start to build it up. And you have to do that. I love your screensaver.
It's
That's
just, you know,
awesome.
it's little thing like you have, like you're saying, you have these mood boards of people that inspire you. I think that's a big thing as well. You keep things around you that you can that you can see. And for me, I'm on my phone 10,000 times a day.
Yeah.
And I see that every single time I click on my phone.
Yeah.
And it's you've got to make your actions back up your ambitions. And it motivates me. When I come home, I'm like, I just want to watch another Netflix, you know, like all Stranger Things, whatever.
so
like, no,
good.
do you know what? If you want things in your life to change, read that book, edit that video, call your friend.
Get it all done. Make the list, do the things, but don't stress yourself out. Clean out the clutter.
Yeah.
That's a huge one.
For you.
For me. For me.
There's no
for
clutter
sure.
in my house, trust me.
I know, that's true. That's true. Cleaning out the clutter, making lists, and the other thing is getting rid of old lists and deleting old lists because that starts to make your brain go crazy too.
It feels like there's an endless supply of things that you have to have done.
Yeah.
And it forces you
And then
into
you don't want to do anything.
immobility. Like you're just like, okay, well, I'm just not going to do any of them because there's too many.
Right. And so there's no excuse anymore. So you guys need to go out and get the Happiness Project.
Yes.
And
then find, once reading it, finding what applies to you, what their happiness project is. And I think if you go online, there is so many forums and videos and websites about people doing their own versions of the happiness project and what is relevant to them.
And that's really fun too. Everybody that gets together and then they share
customize
it.
it.
And that's really cool. Well, okay. So where can people find you?
I'm in Los Angeles. If you
Well, no, like on social media. Let me clarify. Where can people find you on social media?
I'm like, well, this is my address. I'm Asha Leo. It's just my name, Asha Leo, on Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram. Facebook is Asha Leo.
And her address is 1624. No,
555.
Her social security is 569.
Yeah, no, but you should check out, I mean, if you're feeling like you need some inspiration, you should check out Beyond the Record, which is the new show with Facebook and Guinness World Records. Because, like, let's say we take Jyoti Amge, who is she's 24 years old and 24 inches tall. And you would think that for some people that would be seen as a disability. She cannot do anything for herself. And when I'm feeling low, right? And I, like I said, I've been going through a bit of a funk. When I got to spend a week with her in India, she is tiny, but she has the biggest personality, and she does not see her deformity as being a hindrance to her life. She thinks she's special because of it, because it's opened up all these incredible avenues
she's
for her.
amazing.
She says, and you know, this is actually like a really wonderful takeaway from all of it. I've met these we did 5 episodes, and for the first 5 people, they are all around the world in different locations, and they've never met each other, but they all have Guinness World Records titles. And the Jyoti, the world's shortest living woman, I asked her, like, what does this mean to you? And she said that when people walk past her, they could be in a bad mood. And the second they see her, because she's so extraordinary looking, she sees joy in their face. And she loves that she can create joy in people.
Wow.
And I was like, that's amazing. And then we went to Japan to meet a man who is Japan's highest record-breaking person there. He has more records than anybody else in Japan. And when I asked him why he did it, he said that his older brother left the family because in Japan, there's a lot of responsibility put on the eldest son. And so often those sons go missing because of the fear of the weight of responsibility. So his brother disappeared. And every year he sends a Christmas card saying, I'm sorry, I'm an awful son. And that's it. And he doesn't know from year to year whether he's alive or dead. So he started doing these crazy, wacky Guinness World Records titles. And he hopes that even though he fails often, he hopes that he's showing his brother it's okay to fail. It doesn't matter. You just have to keep going. And his mother said that she said her joy disappeared when her son left. And the only time she smiles is when he breaks records. And so he's doing it to bring his family back together.
Oh my God.
And do you know, like I'm saying, these people who don't know each other, and it's a Guinness World Records title, which is, you know, whatever
That's
it is, what it is.
fantastic.
It's an iconic institution, an institution.
It's massive.
But the reason why these people are doing these things is to give happiness to other people. And so much of what happiness is in being in service to others. And when you find happiness yourself, you're able to share that with others.
Right. We started with that
Yeah,
and
and
we're
yeah.
ending with that, which is amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having
This
me.
has been so fun.
Yay.
Okay, now I get to learn how to turn this thing off again. Hold on. All right. Bye, everybody. Bye.
She's fine. She's fine.
It's Dragon Wagon.